Hey, what's up, guys? We are live from San Francisco, California.
Yeah,
We're
in
not
Concord,
in
bro.
San
We're
Fran
in Concord.
exactly, but yeah, our Airbnb is in Concord. And some breaking news just happened. The Jazz and the Grizzlies have agreed on a trade. Shams Charania, breaking news. The Grizzlies are trading star forward Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. to the Utah Jazz for Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. Now,
do we have the specifics on those 3 first-round picks?
the 3 first-round picks, no specifics as I could tell right now as I checked, but the Grizzlies have now traded Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. They have 13 first-round picks in the next 7 years, and I feel like before we talk about Utah, let's talk about Memphis and what they've done. And we thought to record this live reaction before we head out to Radio Road and make sure we give you guys some good content. This is the biggest trade news that's happened thus far this season.
Sad, but true.
Riv, only man left standing in Memphis is Ja Morant now.
As it always was ever going to be. Only man left standing. First of all, shout out to Memphis. You know, being able to get 7 first-round picks in the span of a year for Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson. We felt like last summer, Desmond Bane, 4 first-round picks, you have to jump on that deal. How many times are you going to get that? And then Jaren Jackson, 3 first-round picks. Now, we'll obviously get the specifics later on in the day, but it's clear Memphis is going into a rebuild, retool, whatever they're going to do. They have guys like Cedric Howard, who I think is having a good rookie year. Jalen Wells, who's been a little bit streaky with his jump shot, but is still a quality young player. Edie, when he's ever on the floor, is super impactful, but he's obviously always injured. They have guys there, just young guys, and I feel like they understand that this core 3 wasn't going to get them. They weren't going to stay on the court healthy enough, because I feel like even if they were a competitive playoff team year in, year out, that would have been fine for Memphis, but they can't even do that because they can't stay on the floor together. So I think it was time to maximize what you can get, and Jaren Jackson being, a defensive player, being somebody who I think has the biggest floor out the big 3 because he can provide something for you defensively, probably having the most value. I'm shocked Utah jumped in the deal because there was never no conversations or never no even rumors we've seen that Utah was thinking about Jaren, and I thought Ja would be the first guy out. But Jaren having more value, he's out of there. Trade deadline's on Thursday. If they get Ja out by Thursday, I'll be shocked. I think he's more of a gone in the summer type move. But, yeah, this is honestly the end of a short-lived peak for the big 3 in Memphis, and excited to see what they do with their picks, because this is a team that we've known to develop talent.
They draft well.
Yeah, they draft well. They can develop talent. They got guys like Gigi Jackson get more run down too, so he'll probably get a lot more burn. So interesting to see how they use these picks and utilize these players, and I think this is, for them, a good deal.
I think this is a good deal, sort of, kind of. I think it's a good deal because they cut their losses and they realized that there was a ceiling that they had already reached with Ja, with Bane, with Jaren. I didn't love trading Desmond Bane, but when you realize it's 5 firsts, it's 5 firsts. And especially understanding the trajectory of where Memphis was heading, fine. They underwhelmed last year in the playoffs. They were really strong. They were a really strong team before the last month and change, before the playoffs started. Playoffs started, obviously, bad first-round matchup. They get sent packing. Trading Jaren, I'm okay with it because, again, 3 first-round picks. Now the direction's clear. We're headed towards an obvious rebuild. I don't know if Memphis is going to trade Ja this season, next season. I feel like that's also inevitable.
He has no value.
Because at this point now, you got rid of Bane, you got rid of Jaren, might as well try and see what you get from Ja Morant and just completely go full tilt on a rebuild. Their rebuild was a few seasons after the Gasol, the Zebo, the Mike Conley.
Like 2.
And then you got a player like Ja Morant and it immediately sparked a turnaround. What now has them building it up all over again is because, unfortunately, Ja Morant is not the player that they thought they were getting. Now, Jaren last season really impressed me. Offensively, he took his game to another level. This year has been underwhelming in that fashion, in that regard. So I think that it's fine to trade him at this point. But I am a little bit worried maybe it's because Ja Morant's still on the roster. Are they going to try and build another team around Ja Morant? That would concern me. But I feel like what Memphis has shown us, they've been a smart organization. They decided to pull the plug before they fully started to bleed out. And 8 first-round picks in a span of one NBA season to acquire, it's maximizing the value of your players. So I can appreciate where Memphis is heading. And I think about a player like Pascal Siakam just because he was another player, similar caliber, similar tier, that was traded for a similar package. And we saw Indiana start to have success. So there's part of me that is excited to talk about the Utah side of things. But for Memphis, you build it down. You're gonna build it up once again. I'm interested to see what that entails, but it starts with this season. You're gonna have to finesse your way into a top 3 pick. And if they do have a top 3 pick, I'm all in. But for right now, I'm skeptical because I'm not sure if the plan is still to build around Ja.
Yeah, I like the move for both sides, but just talking about Memphis first. The last few years, they've been a team that's been out of the playoffs. Obviously, that year, a lot of injuries or out of the first round as a play-in team. And even before that, they've won 1 playoff series with this core, right?
Yeah,
So it's not like Desmond Bane, Jaren, and Ja had this super high ceiling. That granted, they did lose to the Warriors, who go on to win the championship a few years ago. But it's not like they ever showed you to have this really high ceiling, right? They had a good regular season, but even in the playoffs, they never gave you anything that made you believe that you should believe in this core and you should buy into this core and you should continue to build around this core. I think what they did these last two moves are brilliant, right? If you want to what you want to avoid, which we always talk about, is you don't want to be a middling team in the NBA. And if you just would have kept Ja, Jaren, and Bane, that's what you would have been. Like, you probably would have been a 6 seed at best to a play-in team for the foreseeable future. And then what you've seen from Ja Morant over these last couple of seasons is he can't stay healthy, and when he's on the court, he's regressed. So it doesn't make sense to just keep running this thing back when you know there's really no ceiling, and in the playoffs, your best shot is to win 1 series. That's just not a core that you should invest in. So you're able to get 3 first-round picks. I'm interested to see what the protections are, because it seems very bold for the Jazz to give unprotected first, right? Especially given just where their team has been for, basically post Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
Draft picks, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have some sort of protections around them, right? Depending on how, serious they are, how restrictive they are, depends on, how good or how bad of a move. But I don't think it's a bad move in any way. You should be stripping this team down, looking to rebuild, looking to really bottom out these next couple of seasons and just try to build this roster back up.
Yeah, we don't have the information yet on what the first-round picks are exactly. I highly doubt the Utah Jazz traded their first-round pick this upcoming offseason. It would just be malpractice for them to do so. So I highly doubt it. But if they did, then speaking on Memphis side, it would be amazing.
Their 2026 pick is in OKC.
It depends.
It's protection.
Top 8 protection.
Yeah, it has mad protection, so they couldn't even trade it.
It's just funny how everything has went downhill since Dillon Brooks has left, honestly. The passion, the toughness, the energy they play with, the swagger they play with, it all left.
I love this.
And Dillon Brooks
so
is
right,
now
though.
in Phoenix,
I think
and he's
it's
balling.
more
and
in
Houston.
It's more
You're
injury
right.
stuff.
Joel, for all the jokes that we've thrown Dillon Brooks' way and Joel's way, whether you like it or not, it's true. Their identity has been stripped ever since he's been gone, and it also in due part to Ja Morant not being that level of player.
Yeah, I think it's been more injuries, but sure.
I think Memphis is.
There's only been one guy injured.
No.
There's been multiple in different
2 years ago,
instances, but listen, I think there was a clear ceiling on Memphis, and they are a forward-thinking franchise.
Yep.
And the clear ceiling with them was a first-round exit. Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, Ja Morant. That is not winning you anything meaningful in the Western Conference, especially when the depth behind them isn't strong. What made them so great in their best seasons was not just star power. It was mostly the depth. They were able to win games when Ja Morant didn't play on the floor. They were able to still be competitive, and that's because they had so many role players that contributed at a high level. But when you have to pay Ja Morant, when you have to pay Jaren Jackson Jr., when you have to pay Desmond Bane, when those second contracts come up and you're not working with rookie contracts anymore, that depth has to be sacrificed, and those stars weren't able to be durable enough and consistent enough to, and I would even say improve enough to make sure that Memphis stayed at the top of the Western Conference. And I think they did an excellent job at selling high. Desmond Bane to Orlando, their biggest need, shooting. They send a ton of first-round picks Memphis' way. And now Jaren Jackson Jr., who has not been the same player this year as he was last season. But a lot of that, I think, is due to situation, new coaching, a new system. Maybe in Utah, he could become more of the version of himself that won Defensive Player of the Year, and he can be more consistent offensively. But now Memphis has a chance to rebuild this thing And we've seen the blueprint for especially small market organizations to be contenders is to have a treasure chest of draft assets for the future. And this isn't the only valuable player on Memphis's roster. I think John Morant's value is really low. I mean, I would be surprised if he got traded for anything more than the Trae Young package, which was essentially nothing. It was an expiring
Milwaukee offered
and
a
a role
first.
player. Two, okay, they're really desperate. They're trying to get Giannis some help.
I think Giannis getting hurt kind of made it to where they're just like,
Yeah, maybe, but who knows? Maybe they get something for John Morant, but ultimately, there are still players on their roster that I think can go for some value, like Scottie Pippen Jr. I know he's hurt right now. Ty Jerome, when he comes back, maybe he could play his value up and he can be traded for something.
He just came back and he played
It's like
well.
his third game, yeah.
Yeah, like they have
They're not
other
gonna trade him,
players
though.
on the roster that can maybe go for something, and they have some good role players too. So whoever comes into this situation, there's going to be a good infrastructure, and this obviously makes Memphis worse this year, trading Jaren, and that gives them a better pick this year in the draft as well. So I think that Memphis is a good forward-thinking franchise, and they decided to sell high when it made the most sense. As for Utah, I'm very intrigued. Danny Ainge decided to make this the move he wants to go in on after years of rebuilding, and I don't hate the core. I look at Keonte George, who's averaging 25, 26 points per game, who is probably the most improved player this year, who, I mean, based on his production, his numbers, his efficiency at the rim from three, his volume as a scorer, I mean, he can be one of the better scorers at his position in the league. And then you have Lauri Markkanen, who's a borderline all-star. Then you bring in Jaren Jackson Jr. to help a 30th ranked defensive rating team. Vince Williams Jr. in the deal, I don't think is nothing. He's a good, solid defender for them. Then Ace Bailey, his improvement, Bryce Sensabaugh, Walker Kessler when he comes back next season. And if you believe in Will Hardy as a coach to maximize the team, I mean, Will Hardy finally has more talent to work with. So I feel like before the idea of Will Hardy was that if he gets talent, then he can really take this team at least a playoff appearance. And he just never had the talent to work with, but now he does. So I think with Utah, this was a swing, but this was a swing because they feel like they have two all-star level players on their team in Keonte and Lauri, and they're saying, listen, we don't want to just continue to rebuild. We want to bring talent into this team, and if they can still get a lottery pick, which seems like it's going to happen unless they make a big plan push this season, then they're going to get a top pick in this draft. They're going to add another talented player to this team. So I think that at the very least, they're trying to compete, which I think is plausible.
Yeah, I'll go very quick. I think it's interesting that Utah made this move when we were talking about them potentially trading Lauri Markkanen and try and get more draft picks. They said, screw that. We're going to be the team that's aggressive. We're going to go out there and we're going to try and add a third piece to what we already think is a solid duo. And I can't fault them for thinking that. Lauri Markkanen has been one of the most efficient scorers in basketball. Keonte George, like we all understand, is the most improved player this season. His ability to get downhill, his shot creation, his ability to shoot the basketball, all has drastically leaped this season. His playmaking as well. Isaiah Collier is a solid sophomore. He's been playing really good basketball since coming back from injury. There are some strong players on this team, and what excites me is thinking about next year with Jaren Jackson playing his true four, and then at the 5, Walker Kessler. And Riv, I do apologize because I'm wrong 100% when thinking about Memphis and the injuries. What killed them the season after they were in the semifinal conference against the Warriors was no Brandon Clark and Steven Adams got injured.
The Warriors when Ja got hurt.
That's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact because when you
every
think
year.
about injuries and Grizzlies, you automatically go to Ja, but them losing their bigs was crucial. Yeah. That killed them because they were one of the best rebounding teams in basketball. And then Jaren, we understand, is not the best rebounder. You need that safety blanket. Walker Kessler can 100% do the dirty work that Jaren lacks in his game. But we know what Jaren brings as a defender, like you mentioned. I think that'll definitely give him a boost from being the worst defensive team in basketball. Utah's trending in the right direction. I like the fact that they were aggressive. They decided not to live in the terrible pit that they've been in. And maybe there's something going on with these teams that we've been accustomed to being mediocre for a good amount of time. Charlotte finally starting to hit their stride. I think the Wizards, maybe not this year, but next year they'll start to get going. You guys know that I'm a little bit too high on them. I like where they're headed, but Now Utah finally putting themselves in the mix. Portland's another one that we've been waiting for. And this season, they've kind of showed their best brand of basketball in a little bit of time post-Dame. Even with Dame, they just really weren't that overly successful towards the end of his tenure. But nevertheless, Utah really starting to assert themselves. I'm excited to see how these three close out this season. I do hope they didn't trade their first-round pick this year because adding one of the big three to this would make me egregiously high on Utah.
So we got details of it. Jake Fisher from
There we go.
the Stein line, and he makes videos for Bleacher Report. He said that the Utah Jazz are trading their most favorable 2027 first-round pick between Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah.
So they're not good, then Memphis gets a good pick.
The Lakers' 2027 first-round pick, and Phoenix's 2031 first-round pick to Memphis.
That's not a bad.
That's good value.
Fine.
But here is the kicker.
It's
The
always a kicker.
Jazz
always kicker.
own a top 8 protected first-round pick in this upcoming draft, like we discussed. And if the pick doesn't convey, then it will go to the Thunder. Right now, Utah has a 5-game cushion between them and the number 9 team in the lottery.
Yep.
So, I feel like this is where I'm at with it. If the Utah Jazz decide to go all in this season and compete and win games, and they play themselves out of the top 8, I think it's a mistake.
I agree.
But if they get Jaren and say, listen, collectively, we're on board with next year's the year. Let's go get one of these big three, and let's just manage Jaren Jackson Jr. He has like a toe injury, sit out for 20 games. Then I'm all for it, because then you're adding a blue chip prospect to this team. So it really just depends on their direction for the rest of the season on how I feel about the Jazz long term.
Yeah, I'm confused. Just with the overall direction of Utah, because you mentioned it, they have a top 8 protected pick. They've been playing better as of late. They've been actually really competitive this year. That's a problem, and that's not a good problem. It's a problem in itself where this big three doesn't move me unless they get a blue chip prospect, because I feel like you're just creating a worse version of Desmond Bane, John Morant, and Jaren Jackson at the peak of their powers. And we just talked about how they didn't get anywhere, so what makes me think Utah would get anywhere with it? KG, I think Utah's been a fun team to watch. I don't want to take that away from them. I think KG's been awesome. Lauri's played his best brand of basketball. Walker Kessler, for the couple games he was playing really well.
Yep.
And they're going to pay him this year. I'm assuming they're going to bring him back now with Jaren Jackson on the roster, because Jaren Jackson cannot play the 5. I know we think offensively it's, it could be a system thing, but I just think Jaren Jackson is just not that good of an offensive player. I think the shooting is fake. He's regressed at the rim. He's really good in the little floater area. Oh, wow.
That's my phone.
Yeah, he's really good in the little floater area, but just Jaren Jackson is just he's a weird player.
You know what's the thing, though, is that, like, with this trade, the first-round picks that they gave up, like a 2027 first, if Utah's competitive next year,
They're fine. Yeah.
that's a bottom half first-round pick. A 2027 Lakers first-round pick, Luka's still there, adding more talent. It's going to be a bottom barrel first-round pick. And then the 2031 Phoenix Suns pick. The Suns, maybe they could be really bad at 2031. Yeah. Maybe they could be really good. I mean, they're one of the youngest teams in the league.
That speaks on Jaren's value, though, I feel like, where his value wasn't super high, and I think with Utah, if you tell me, like, number 3 pick, they're getting A.J. DeBonta, cool, I'm on board with it. Now you get a real guy who can be a legit, or at least we see has the potential to be a number 1 guy. I think a lot of these guys, KG, Lauri, Jaren, they're like number 3s, number 2s-ish type vibes.
You're definitely taking a shot in the dark with
sure.
The Suns pick. The Lakers pick is interesting just because the roster's going to be completely different next year probably. Reeves potentially could walk. LeBron is most likely going to walk.
If it's just Luka and role players, that could be a lottery pick.
It could be, but also it could be in favor of the Lakers because we know this roster doesn't work.
We won't be that bad.
I don't think they're going to be like a top 10 pick by any means.
I feel like if the Lakers – I don't know. I ain't going to say I will be. Because I feel like I was going to say the Dallas situation, but it was different because they were top 10 protected,
you also
so they knew the tank.
This Lakers team that we're watching is visually displeasing. Mm-hmm. It's not the best constructed roster.
For sure.
We're still top 6.
But is LeBron going to be there?
No, LeBron's probably going to be gone.
Is Reeves going to leave?
But they could build a roster that's better constructed. Either way, not a Lakers video. But I think I like it for Utah. It makes sense because we did talk about potentially moving off Lauri, potentially getting more draft picks. But you're just falling in this repeating cycle of just trading your best player to rebuild and get draft picks. And I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Utah, is this the move that's going to make you a contender? No, obviously not. But Utah has to take these steps from. They've been a bottom 3-4 team in the West for years now, right? Like we go into every single season, we do our predictions. We don't even talk about Utah because we're like they're going to be one of the worst teams in basketball. You know, like maybe there's a couple young players.
What does this make them though? Like
I think they have to take
this
steps
season or next?
for next season. I think the goal is to try to be in the play-in.
I'll
You know
say
what I mean?
very quickly.
like them or Portland?
Who?
Same vibe.
It depends.
Utah.
Who's there?
I don't know.
Like
That's a
long
toss-up.
term,
no,
right
no,
now.
I'm talking about like next year.
With who did they get in the draft?
Long term next year.
I don't know.
Even if they don't get a blue chip guy in the draft, I still like them better long term over Portland.
I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing.
Why?
Like I feel like Portland has Denny. You know, they have a couple young players like
That's really
Scoot,
it.
Shaden Sharp.
But Scoot, what is it going to be?
Playing.
True.
I
Klingon's
think
all right.
it's- I mean, I
Klingon's
think right
playing
now
great
you
basketball.
have Utah.
Like
has
right
the
now,
more-
Portland is injured as hell.
Yeah,
and they're
still
the
have Drew,
10th
but he'll
seed.
probably get
You know what I'm saying?
traded.
Yeah, like
So
But
I-
Utah definitely has the more established players, JJ, Keonte.
for sure.
I'm looking at these teams like who I'm higher on long term. Let's say like next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jazz or this other team. I'm higher on the Jazz than the Clippers, than
Yeah.
the Blazers, than even Memphis. I am.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Dallas. I know
No.
they have Cooper Flag,
would-
but
I would-
they don't have anything around him.
Ooh,
That's a TBD. I don't
that's a
hate that
TBD.
opinion.
I want
though.
to see what they do with AD
I don't hate
and
that
Kyrie.
opinion.
I
Joel.
understand.
Dallas has been mostly a good run organization. They just made the worst.
And honestly,
move in
they're
NBA
actually
history.
not that bad right now.
No, they're not. But I think between them and Dallas is definitely a toss up. I feel better than about them than the Pelicans and the Kings, than the Warriors long term. And then
Maybe. Warriors have all their
am I
picks.
crazy to say the Houston Rockets? Is,
Yeah,
it,
you're
is
actually-
it crazy?
You're
What
actually
the?
nuts.
All right, you're going crazy.
Nuts.
You're going
Why?
crazy.
37-year-old Kevin Durant, once he's gone, what really is there?
They
But
everything,
you're saying
take
next
Kevin Durant
season,
off, they're still better than Utah.
They are.
They were
don't
better.
know. I
They
don't
were a
think so.
top 2 seed last year without.
That's
Kevin
what
Durant.
Jalen Green.
With Dylan Brooks.
And Dylan Brooks.
Sure.
That's a good point.
Well, Dylan Brooks is an all-star.
Well,
I mean, Dylan Brooks has been awesome, but I think
I don't
think
know
you
about
could-
that one.
You could find something if
but
you
we're
just get
talking about a
score
young
without
core
it.
of Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün,
Tari Eason,
Reed-
Jabari
Tari
Smith, yeah.
Jabari Smith,
Reed
Reed
Shepherd.
Shepherd versus
And probably another draft pick coming
Okay,
in.
Keonte
Either
George.
way, the last 2
Laurie,
years they've shown to be a
JJJ,
top 3 seed.
Kessler.
Well, Laurie's
I don't
not
think
a
that
part of
young
the young
core-
core. We have to stop adding
Well,
him.
just the core in general. You know, the core long term.
Well,
Like,
Laurie's
who's gonna
what,
be part of
28?
it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Jazz taking steps. They would have to take 4 steps to get to where the
Brother,
Rockets in
that
the last
core
2
with
years.
Houston just made the playoffs.
I know. I just think it's not crazy. If the Jazz next year are a higher seed than Houston, I wouldn't be shocked. That's what I'm
That
saying.
would just mean Kevin Durant has completely regressed.
Well, yeah, it means he's 38. He'd be 38 years old.
yeah, and
I
that
don't
means the
think it's
men
crazy.
completely regressed. Sengun, your
Not
boy,
really.
completely
No,
regressed.
you're out on Şengün.
Yeah, as a superstar for sure.
But I mean, but yeah, you're not that high on him, right?
No, I'm not. But I'm
So-
not that high on Jaren and them either.
I get it, but I'm mostly high on like Keonte. I am.
To be what?
Can he be a top 5 shooting guard in the NBA? Yes.
That's not insane.
Can he be top 4? I think yeah, he can.
I don't think
That's tough.
Here's the thing. I think the gap between the top 3 and everybody after them is so huge it doesn't even matter if you're 4 or 5.
We need a larger sample size from Keonte George, obviously, but the way he's producing this
Mm-hmm.
season,
Can he be the third best shooting guard in the league?
I think eventually, yeah,
That's tough,
Like,
'cause
as
then-
And I'm
Devin
not talking about
Booker-
like them regressing. I'm talking about they're still at the peak of their powers, but KG
He'd have to be
it's-
better than Devin, Anthony Edwards, or Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's not
Ant-Man
happening.
is going to be the number 1 shooting guard in the league for like the next 8 years.
That's fair.
But I'm looking at in the next 3
So it's taking a
years.
tip off.
3 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
can I see Keonte being a better player than Donovan Mitchell? Yes, I can.
It's unfortunate that statement's being made while Donovan's in the midst of arguably
I
his
just
best
love how we
season.
always pick him when he's the
Where-
one performing.
Yeah,
the
he
best.
really has been.
It's always
He's been
him
How does that
performing
happen?
the best.
It happens by Donovan Mitchell just falling off.
It has to be.
Because that means you think Keontae is going to be like a borderline top 10 player, like a top
Donovan
15
gets
guy?
picked out because
He's in Cleveland. That's it.
I really don't understand why.
There is not
Undersized, maybe.
a single thing you can tell me where Donovan Mitchell is the third worst out of them right now.
Because
the way he's
Donovan's been
playing.
the most efficient of the 3 right now. Maybe not Anthony Edwards shooting the
I just
basketball.
think that in terms of how their games can age, I think Devin Booker's game can age better than Mitchell's.
What's wrong with Mitchell's game?
I
It's
just
not
think
super
that
athletic.
It's not super athletic, but he does rely on his athleticism more than Devin Booker.
He does.
he
That's
does.
fair.
He does. But Donovan's
28.
3-point shooting's been.
I'm not
pretty
going to lie.
solid.
He's
Keontae's not going to get in the top
And he's
3.
a 6'1" guard versus Booker.
The size
How tall
is what I
KG,
understand.
brother?
KG's what, 6'3", 6'4"? He's 6'4".
Is he?
Yeah, he's 6'4".
I'm unsure of
Is,
that.
is that cap?
No, I mean that's what ESPN says.
Okay, so all right, so he's really like 6'3".
I mean maybe, but let's see. On ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
he's listed at 6'4".
6'4".
Okay.
That's tall.
What's the wingspan? That matters. Because D. Mitchell
Now
has
we're
like a
getting
6'8"
into the
wingspan.
draft combine.
John, you want to
Yeah.
get your takeoff? Come on over, man.
Yeah, we're subbing in John. Dale's
John
getting out of
John has a lot of takes.
here. Yeah. Let's see, John. I'm interested to see what John thinks about what I just said about the Houston take. What are your thoughts on it? Just Utah Jazz in general.
I didn't hear your Houston take, dude.
Okay, so I said that
Whoa, another trade.
Who? Is it
another
important?
trade just happened.
Minnesota and Detroit agreed to a multi-team deal. Jaden Ivey and Conley to the Bulls. Herter and Sark to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 26th first from Minnesota. First swap, excuse me.
Wow.
All right, so the
What does
trade.
Minnesota
So
get?
I'll read
I'm
it.
assuming
So
nothing.
I'll read it. So it's on microphone. Justin, Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley to the Bulls, and Kevin Horter and Dario Saric to the Pistons. Detroit also receives a 2026 first-round protected swap from Minnesota.
So what did Minnesota get? Nothing.
That
Off
is,
Mike Conley.
I guess, off Mike Conley.
Okay.
That's
We
interesting.
can talk about that in a little
But
bit.
Ivy going to the Bulls.
It's a swing. What did the Pistons get? Sorry.
Herder in the first.
Okay.
Herter and Dario,
Basically more shooting.
and
got
they
a-
also get a swap from Minnesota.
They got a first-round pick and they got a shooter for Kevin Herter.
That's
I mean, Kevin Herter,
Ivy,
shooter,
yeah.
and a first.
Wolves are
round pick
freeing up money. For who?
for Conley.
Giannis.
For Giannis.
I don't think they're doing a Giannis trade.
I think
No.
they're all in on it.
They might be
They're
all in
all
on
in on
this,
They have
bro.
2 tradable first-round picks.
Whether they do it or not, but they're all in on it for
You
sure.
can trade Gobert and something else to get Giannis.
They have 2 tradable first-round picks, and those picks are swaps.
I don't want to trade Gobert. Trust me, I don't.
I think the
But to
defense
get
falls
Giannis-
off.
The deal would have to be Randall.
Do you think
Nasri,
Randall Nasri and who?
Dillingham.
And Dillingham?
It'd be Randall, Nasri, Dillingham.
Giannis
for-
and Rudy
first.
is disgusting.
That's amazing.
It's disgusting.
In a good
bro.
way or bad way? Bad
Both.
way? Yeah, I get it.
Both.
Offense would be interesting.
Offense
But
would be-
defense,
and then-
oh my
yeah.
God.
Offense would definitely
If you
be
thought
like,
Brooke and him was good,
yeah.
bro.
So, okay, let me get my take off, John, and then react
Yeah,
to it.
John, did
So
you
I
hear the
said,
KG one?
In the next 3 years, the Utah Jazz, I'm higher on them than I am on the Warriors, Clippers, Blazers, Grizzlies, the Mavericks is a toss-up, the Pelicans, the Kings. I think the Suns is also a toss-up. I can hear the logic for the Suns. It depends on how the young players develop. Like if Kim Malawach doesn't develop, then I'm much lower on the Suns' future. And he hasn't played this year much. And then I think next 3 years, I can see the Rockets.
That's best
Because
case
Kevin
scenario.
Durant is 37 years old, and he's their best player.
Yeah, I think you make a very interesting point. The Jazz have themselves a very promising future, and I think a lot of people are questioning what's the vision here because a lot of people didn't know up until 20 minutes ago what picks they're giving up. Are they going to have their pick this year at 15-35 with the 6th best draft odds, but they're keeping that pick. So I agree with you with basically the vast majority of those teams. I still respect Houston's young core, but when I look at what Danny Ainge is doing, I see the vision exactly. Right now, the Utah Jazz are the worst defense in the NBA. And now next year, you get to bring back Walker Kessler and free agency. He only played 5 games, got shut down in November with a torn labrum, and Jaren Jackson as their front court. That might be the biggest upgrade of any team next season. And then you stack on top of that another year for Keonte, who this year has already reached an all-star guard level, and Lauri Markkanen. And I feel like with this young core, you're also seeing these other complementary players. Ace Bailey. I like Vince Williams, the kind of bench reserve with his playmaking and defensive chops, and I think a change of scenery can revitalize him into a decent rotation player, a decent perimeter defender. And most importantly, I feel like in a Western Conference that, you have the Spurs, we have the Thunder, we have the Nuggets. Everyone seems to focus in these three teams, but we tend to kind of overlook the fact having three young stars, all in their 20s, a good coach and a good GM, is a very strong foundation. And that's the difference between them and Memphis. When the Memphis Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins, that started a downward spiral. And over the last couple of years, they've made a lot of very questionable moves. I think recently, these 2 recent moves, moving Desmond Bane and moving Jaren, have worked out well, getting 7 first-round picks and a swap. And so far, that looks promising, getting back Cedric Howard. But before they kind of started to reset and tear apart the John Jaren era, the Grizzlies were making a lot of poor roster decisions. Like you said, moving on from Dylan Brooks, giving up draft capital to get Marcus Smart, aged as poorly as he could have went. And their culture quickly started to kind of depreciate or deteriorate, I should say. So I kind of agree with your take in a sense. I think Houston's got still a lot with Amon, Alpi, and some of their other kind of glue guys there, but Utah's young core is very promising. I'm excited to see what it looks like next season.
I mean, what?
Was a top 15 player, man.
Bro,
What's promising about the young
30th
core?
defensive rating.
Just told you.
Adding
No, like as opposed to over
JJJ.
Houston.
Well, I think it's just the core in general. Like, let's just like remove the young from it.
Okay.
It's Şengün, Amen, Jabari, Tari, Reed versus Laurie, Jaren, Keonte, and Ace Bailey, and
Bryce
Kessler.
Walker Kessler. I think that's not like a big discrepancy, to be honest. Between
I don't
the
know,
two
man.
cores.
Houston has a floor. They have a foundation. They have an identity.
Yeah, and their foundation, the Utah Jazz is. I mean, they have ultimate versatility on offense. They have so many shooters.
The
And
one thing that you said earlier that I think made a lot of sense was talking about Will Hardy. Will Hardy has been this idea for a long time. They've held on through multiple losing seasons.
He's been like every nerd's favorite coach.
Exactly.
I like Will.
Which is why I say now, let's see it. He finally has expectation. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Because Will Hardy has been a conundrum for me to understand.
And especially Riv, that was the core that I'm mentioning now. But if Utah gets a top pick in this draft, you can add a player like that. And let's say it's not even a one of the big three. Let's say it's like number 4, Caleb Wilson.
Where is he fitting?
I mean, hey, he's a talented player. BPA. You just.
Where is he
I
fitting?
do agree with Riv. He genuinely wouldn't have positional fit.
You have to go
Maybe the
Kingston.
wrong
You
guy.
probably go Fleming's there.
Yeah, I mean, there's still more talented players on the board that they could draft. So that's the thing is like, I think Utah, they're building something promising. And what John said, like 30th in defensive rating.
Yeah, that's pretty
adding
bad.
Kessler and Triple J. Like, would I be shocked if when healthy next year they're like a top 15 defense? I wouldn't.
I don't know. It depends. Like, I want to see what Laurie and KG's effort on that end looks now with the real rim protector and Kessler and Jaren. And then I'm assuming they're going to start Ace at the 2. Like, I think that's going to be their big lineup, their big jumbo lineup. Listen, we can feel good about it. I think I'm more waiting for a final verdict on what that pick looks like at the end of the year. Like, at the draft, on the draft night, do they have a top 8 pick? Can they bring in a real blue chip prospect? That's for me. That's my thought.
What
Okay.
happens if they move up the second overall pick and get AJ or Darren? I mean, I think it's
That's what I'm like. We're here now.
I think this it's like low-key a contender.
Yeah.
Like a
If you
year
get
or two.
DP here, now you're like, all right, this is something you can build now.
Who do you say is the better fit for this team, Darren or AJ?
Darren.
Because AJ the BYU product, but I would say
DP.
It doesn't
I would
matter
say
what team
Darren.
Darren goes
But
to.
but Utah loves AJ.
Okay,
like,
so
loves.
Hear
AJ.
me out. This is gonna be the last statement made. Then we're gonna stop the recording. We did this for you guys. We didn't go get coffee and go to Radio Row, and now my girlfriend's upset and she's.
I thought we were still going to get coffee.
We are gonna go get coffee still. But okay, the Minnesota Timberwolves are a part of this 3-team deal. I don't know if the details have been finalized yet, but this is my intuition. Conley goes to Chicago, right? Jaden Ivey goes to Chicago as well. They're taking swings. Why would Chicago go and get Jaden Ivey?
Because they're trading Kobe White.
Yeah, and where would Kobe White go? Maybe Minnesota.
He would be in the deal.
Maybe it's not finalized just yet. My intuition is saying that potentially Kobe White's going to Minnesota. That's
Okay.
my intuition.
I think that's a cool deal on the surface level. I think getting another ball
I
handler,
want the
another
vibes
shooter.
to be high, and I want Minnesota to get Giannis.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of like, okay, what's Minnesota doing in this deal? Kobe White's
no.
the only one that makes sense.
Mike Conley had to go. It's
Yeah,
time.
but who are you getting back? You're just trading.
I
him for
think even
nothing?
just him going, like it's
Freeing up money is huge.
it is huge, especially
He's like
nowadays.
10 million.
That's bro, for a team like
Every-
that, it's huge.
every $1 million
It counts,
matters.
bro. First of all, for Detroit, you got another shooter. Nice.
are you getting Kevin or Kevon?
Kevin Herter.
That joke went
It's
over
all
his
right.
head.
Sorry, was it meant to be like he's a bad shooter if he's Kevon?
When he's Kevon, like he's automatic. But when
Oh,
he's
okay.
Kevin, he's regular.
Oh well, listen,
So-
he'll throw him in if he can't
I'm
make
asking which
shots.
version.
Shout
you
out to
put
the
He'll take him
Minnesota
out.
fans. It's either you're getting Kobe White or Giannis on
That's
the
lit.
But yeah, in this deal, bro, literally nothing is like. Look, I'm reading the details.
4 expiring.
Jaden and Conley to the Bulls, Herter and Saris to the Pistons, and Detroit also receives a 2026 first round protected swap from Minnesota.
I think this is the deal.
There's nothing Minnesota's getting though. Like
Yeah.
Minnesota has to get something in this deal. So that's what makes me think that it's Kobe White. Especially if the Bulls just got Jaden Ivey to fill that role.
No, look. Sham said Minnesota creates significant tax savings and roster space as they pursue a Milwaukee star this week. Bro, they got nothing.
It's nuts, bro. They're dead.
They're going
about
for
to try and
Giannis,
get
bro.
Giannis.
It's Giannis or nothing.
That's late.
They had $202 million on their payroll, so now they're getting under the.
Trying to tell you,
the
that might
first
constantly
day.
10 mil. They got to get
it's
that
huge.
off, bro.
That's
Listen,
nuts.
I would
Are
love.
you sick because it's about to be Giannis' team?
No, I mean it's always Ant-Man's team. He's a better player.
What?
He's a better player.
You got?
I would love to.
And
see,
that's going to do it for Pick a Side
I'll be honest,
Podcast.
bro. There is no way. This is like KD joining Golden
And
State.
you thought it was KD's team.
No, you think it's Steph's team, right?
No, but you thought it was.
I was wrong.
You can't say that.
No, I was wrong. So it's Steph's
No, you're
team.
only saying
All
you're
right,
wrong
fine.
now, so it can fit your
Hey,
agenda.
a man can grow.
Let's move on. So
Of course, you give him a
Thi-
pass. Of course.
Sorry.
even Giannis going to Minnesota, it will still be Ant's team.
No, it's Ant's team, but we
Ant
know
is
who's the best player in the
Minnesota.
team. It's okay.
Well, it's
maybe.
the same thing with Dwayne Wade in Miami and the same thing with Steph in Golden State. I would love to see Giannis in Minnesota, but what's this trade package going to look like from Minnesota?
Yeah, they
What-
could.
what-
They
for
might
the
give
Bucks. What
up
do you mean
all their
Steph and
depth,
KD?
bro.
Yeah, Steph and Katie. If I misspoke, which I probably did, that's what I meant.
That's closer
You know
than
what
this one.
Easily.
But hey, we'll
Comfortably.
see.
Easily.
Like comfortably.
But what's the
Easily.
trade package?
With respect to AE.
With respect, it's so much
With
closer.
respect.
Like, that's like a 1A, 1B. This is not a 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
is a
Ant-Man's
1-2.
a top 5 player in the world. He is.
We throw top 5 around.
We do throw it around a lot.
Throw it around,
Brother,
He's
this
earned
is
it.
a 1A, 1B with Dan and Giannis.
With all due respect, and I don't even
Who's
want
the best scorer on
I don't
the
want.
team? It's
Listen,
Ant.
listen.
Ant's a
I
better
mean this
scorer.
with all due respect. I don't even think I should have to say that because we know basketball. Giannis is comfortably better than Ant-Man. Like it's not even a
Please,
conversation.
we
Right
don't have
now,
to
as
do
of
too
today,
much. We don't
I
have
don't
to
even
do
think that's
too much.
disrespectful. Giannis is in a tier with the two other guys at the top of the food
Answer me
chain.
this: fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. Who's taking the shots?
But that was similar with Middleton and Giannis.
But this
I'll
is
be honest.
supercharged.
Yeah,
Riv.
we need a 3.
Of course, obviously, Anthony Edwards is one of the best players
Anthony
in the
Edwards
world.
is the top 5 player in the world, bro.
Yeah.
Top
Bro,
5
I
is
don't
nuts.
hate it, but like
It's-
we know who tier 1
yeah,
is. That's all I'm saying. It's the
listen,
Joker, Giannis,
He's not
and
top
SGA.
5,
Yes,
but he's
Giannis
definitely
is
top
in tier
10.
1, and if Ant is not in the same tier,
in tier
he's
2.
the very first player in the second
It's either
tier.
him or Luka.
At the end of the day, Giannis is a top 5, top 3, top 4 player. I think with Wemby. With Wemby, he's comfortably top
Oh my
4.
God!
I know,
What?
I
Yeah,
know,
come
I
on,
know,
guys.
I know.
What are
It's
we
not
doing?
even.
Wait, what do you mean?
But
it's
with
not even
Giannis's
what?
lower body injuries, turning 31 years old, I'm looking at this a year from now. I said to myself, Giannis is probably going to be a little bit less, a little bit worse, slightly. And I think the gap between him and Ant will be negligible.
Bro, at the end of the day, it's 2 superstars teaming up.
Of course,
Yeah. Yes,
awesome.
yeah, I
It's
think-
lit.
Ant is a tier 1 superstar. That's what he is.
Okay, I don't hate
Ant
it.
is a tier 1 face.
Whatever.
It's
Tier
not a
one
hard
superstar's fine.
That's it.
concept, bro.
It's fine, Riv. It's
Oh
fine.
my
What he's saying is
God.
okay.
He's a
I don't
tier one
hate
face of the
it.
franchise.
The top 5 is dragging it, but
They're
he's
so
tier 1.
What do you mean
overcomplicated.
it's dragging?
Who are the 5 better players in the NBA?
Okay,
You can argue
SGA,
Luka's
Jokic,
better.
Luka's not better.
Yeah.
You can argue it though.
He's not better.
You can argue
Not
it though.
including
Argue
Tatum,
me.
because
He's
Tatum's
not
not
better.
playing.
Luka's not better than Ammon. Okay, we
heard it here first.
I know. It's just okay.
I know what we're doing. It's okay.
It's okay.
Who outplayed who in the playoffs this past year? What did
You had
Ant-Man-
Luka over him.
No, I
in
have,
the offseason.
No,
Yes,
now
you did.
that was when he was Dallas. I don't like this Lakers Luka.
But you just brought up. Stop.
Dallas
You did
Luka.
you did like this Lakers Luka.
At first, but I haven't liked what I've seen this year. And I know he's averaging amazing numbers, but it's about the eye test with him. And Ant is career efficiency at the rim, mid-range, and from 3.
I get it. Ant's amazing,
I know he is.
but you can't comfortably just. I think it's a conversation regardless.
Okay, but that means he's arguable top 5. You made it sound like it's crazy
No,
to say he's top
no.
5.
I think it. No. Wrong. We're losing the plot here. I said I think Giannis is clearly, comfortably, as of today, better than Ant.
it is a 1A, 1B situation, though.
Sure, I don't think so.
Like it
It's-
doesn't.
it's
he,
truly
he
semantics.
doesn't go to Minnesota and is like, "Yo, this is Giannis's team." No,
No, it's going to be the guy who's drafted there. It's
it-
Ant's team.
but, I mean,
but I
even
think he
then-
goes to Minnesota. He's clearly the best player.
But it was like LeBron went to Miami, and
LeBron was clearly the best player.
the first year. It was okay. Who's gonna get the mantle? Then the second year, Dwayne Wade's like, "Nah, bro, this is your team."
Yeah. But
Like-
LeBron walking there was still clearly the best player. It was just D Wade's team. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but this Ant-Man's team. That's
Look,
what
I
I'm
know
saying.
you're getting
This
emotional
Ant-Man's
about it.
team.
I get it, bro. It's
No, but,
okay.
I think
It
you're
is
just
Ant-Man's
underselling
team.
Look,
Ant,
at the end of the day, a year from now, the gap between them is not going to be that wide.
Probably not because Giannis, 31?
When they have a full off season, a full
Yeah.
training camp
This is
together,
baby
it's gonna
Shaq
be
and
1A,
Kobe.
1B.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, Shaq went there after 4 seasons in Orlando.
This
Giannis
is Miami
31
Shaq
years
and
old.
Miami Wade.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Giannis like he's
Yo.
fucking prehistoric?
No, I'm
Because he's
playing.
been able to
We're
handle
losing-
lower body injuries. That's
We're
all I'm
losing the
saying.
plot.
No, I'm playing.
Because when he's on, you can say that all you want, But when he's on the court, he's still a top 3 player in the
it's
world.
like 3-4
there's
seasons
nothing
of
that's
30
hindered
plus.
that, bro.
Watch who gets finals.
But
MVP.
it's definitely a concern as he turns.
For sure,
31
it's
years
concerned
old.
it so much that we still view him as a top 3 player with all these lower body injuries.
No, yeah, listen. I mean, I listen. Overall, I agree with
I'm
your
with the Bucks
sentiment.
are,
It's a
too.
1A1B.
The
That
Bucks
has
suck.
nothing to do with him.
Okay.
It's
Well,
a
Who's
superstar
helping
team.
that
How
Bucks
does
team?
that
When
have
he's
to
out
do
the
with
lineup-
him?
When they're at the lineup, when he's at the lineup, they can't win. But that's the point that I'm making here.
The
Nobody's winning
team,
with that
they
team.
were losing while he was on the court too.
They lost
the
12
team is
straight games when
terrible.
he didn't play.
I'm saying that Giannis is still a top 3, top 4 player in the world.
Are you saying
However, with his injury issues,
He's still a top 3 player.
I agree. But what I'm saying is that when he's not on the court, especially, I feel like this gap we're starting to see kind of shrink between him and a guy like Ant-Man.
At
guess
the end
that's
of the
fair 'cause you
day,
can't judge someone
at
who
the
doesn't
end of the
play.
day,
yeah, sure.
it is 2 superstars teaming up. Minnesota's going to jump up and be an even more of a contender than they already are, because I do think that they can compete with their team currently. They just need some more point guard depth, and it is a superstar tandem.
Are you
And
excited for it?
There's going to be nights where Ant-Man is the best player on the floor, and there's going to be nights where Giannis is the best player on the floor.
Absolutely.
And it's probably going to be more of a 50-50 split when that
In the regular season, probably.
when that's the case. Even in the playoffs, in the postseason.
Maybe,
Ant is a playoff riser.
I don't hate the take.
Yeah, because it's a correct one.
He definitely is. He learned how to become an elite 3-point shooter
Yeah,
in
I
the
just-
playoffs.
I just
and he
think you
never-
guys
and he
overthought
never
it a
let it
little
go. It is. It's
but-
right now. It's an overthought.
Yeah,
Down the road, fine.
Down the road, yeah, it's definitely overthought.
But that's going to do it. We're going to record another podcast episode later in the week, reacting to all the trade deadline news and talking to you guys about what's going on at Radio Row and stuff like that and all the content that we got out. But thank you for watching. I'm going to post this soon, and we'll see you guys next time.